Hi, my name is Tom Kitch, and in a couple of my videos I mentioned President Kennedy, President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, 35th President of the United States, who in my opinion is one of the greatest presidents this country's ever had. And I owe my existence today. Today is December 11th, 2016. If it weren't for President Kennedy, I would have been dead in October of 1962. President Kennedy ignored all his military advisors to attack the Soviet Union. And through back-channel negotiations with Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev, brought the Cuban Missile Crisis to an end and averted World War III. And he was assassinated. He was assassinated because of treacherous elements within the American government, not the elected American government, not the House of Representatives, not the Senate, but people in the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, murdered President Kennedy because they wanted to control the world, more or less. And they thought they were more important than one president. President Kennedy knew what they were all about and promised upon re-election in 1964 to, in his own words, to break the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it into the wind and put it under the control of his brother, the Attorney General of the United States, Robert Kennedy. Well, they murdered John Kennedy in 1963 and they murdered Robert Kennedy in 1968. The CIA. If you want a short list of American traitors, look at Allen Dulles, General Charles Cabell, General Edwin Lansdale, Richard Helms, J. Edgar Hoover, and Lyndon Johnson, who became the president. The first four assassinated him, were in charge of it, and the other two, J. Edgar Hoover and Lyndon Johnson, covered it all up and blamed it on one so-called crazed nut, Lee Harvey Oswald, who is, he was a CIA agent ever since he entered the Marine Corps, but he was a pigeon. He was a stoolie. He was the one to take the blame. He was a fool. Lee Harvey, and they murdered him right after that, Jack Ruby. And then you can have this scenario of the mafia assassinated Kennedy. No, mafia just, or anti-Castro Cubans assassinated Kennedy. No. The shooters were probably paid for by big Texas money oil. And they all came from Texas. Charles Harrelson, Jack Lawrence, Malcolm Wallace, Lloyd Factor, maybe Herminio Diaz. And they all got away with it. And some of these culprits are buried in Arlington, along with President Kennedy. So anyhow, in a couple of my videos I mentioned about the United States is the greatest country in the world, but we've had our problems. Number one was slavery. That was the greatest disgrace in American history. And also assassinations in the 1960s. President Kennedy and his brother Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King. But anyhow, we have a great country. We try to improve this country. Look to the truth. I want you to look up Jesse Ventura, the governor of Minnesota. He's been very interested in this topic of assassinations. Colonel L. Fletcher Prouty, his books JFK, Vietnam, and the assassination of President Kennedy. I would like you to look those up. His books up. This book right here is maybe my favorite, JFK and the Unspeakable. The Unspeakable is the CIA. James W. Douglas, Douglass. James W. Douglas. JFK Assassination and the Theories. Carl Oglesby. Excellent book. The Kennedy Killing by James TAGUE. He blames Lyndon Johnson. I don't blame Lyndon Johnson for Kennedy killing, but I blame him for the cover-up. J. Edgar Hoover and Lyndon Johnson covered it up because it was in their interest. J. Edgar Hoover would have been forced into retirement upon re-election of John Kennedy in 1964. They gave him great honors and all this stuff, but he would have been forced into retirement. J. Edgar Hoover knew that John Kennedy was going to be assassinated. He did nothing to prevent it. He's a traitor, in my opinion. J. Edgar Hoover is a traitor to this country. He's a dirtbag. He's a traitor. And this book, Murder in Dealey Plaza, James H. Fetzer. So our country has had its down moments. The down moments were in the 60s. And now it's 2016. I'm looking forward to Donald Trump. I voted for him for president. He's a work in progress. He puts his foot in his mouth every other sentence, but he's a work in progress. And I think he's going to, I don't distrust his patriotism. So I think this country is going to be okay. Okay? My name is Tom Kitch, TOMKITCH. You can write to me on the computer at tomkitchmusic@yahoo.com. All small case letters, or you can send me a picture postcard from your hometown or from anywhere on the road to my P.O. Box 81442, San Diego, California 92138, United States of America. God bless this country, the greatest country in the world. God bless the United States of America.